Okay, welcome to the Trump administration. These are going to be my predictions for the second 45 presidency. I'm Danielle, a scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership, and I wrote a book called Uncultured about growing up in the Children of God religious cult and going into the cult of the U.S. Army. And I will be here to narrate the next 4 years as we all live in a cult. You can get signed copies attached here. So there's two things that happen when the cult leader finally builds their cult. One, they can surround themselves with effective bureaucrats, and those bureaucrats start bureaucrating. It's a process called routinization in groups. They start writing things down, they start making rules and laws and processes to follow, and they hire more people, etc., etc. They build a hierarchy, they build a bureaucracy, and bureaucracy is the opposite of charismatic leadership. And so routinization makes your group, in theory, a little safer from being yanked to and fro by the guy at the top. Now, Mormons have been the example for routinization. Scholars used to think it made you no longer a cult. I do not agree with that. But I do think that America, which is a cult, that's why I'm writing a book called The Culting of America, has a lot of routinization in place. It takes hundreds of thousands of bureaucrats to run the government. So I think he's most likely to just have kind of an ineffective term, a lot of infighting. He'll spend a lot of time golfing, and we will start to just slowly creep toward looking more and more like dictatorship era Brazil, with social services that don't work, right? We already see USPS and the Department of Education completely broken down. They want to do that more so that Bezos can buy the post office and become a first trillionaire, and so that they can force private education on people. Breaking down social services is a huge part of dictatorships and control. And by the way, you still can't get a package mailed to Brazil safely. I grabbed that. Okay, so now most dangerous course of action, or no, let's not even get there yet. Now, the other thing that a cult leader can do is surround themselves with all the people who have affirmed them on their rise to power. And that seems like what he's doing, right? Putting all these billionaires in positions, just having the oligarchy out loud and in public. And this is actually good because those leaders will fight for the spotlight, right? They are all narcissists too. They just didn't have the idea to build their big thing. And so they're going to fight for the spotlight. They're going to jockey for attention. And this is all going to make the cult less effective at culting. For example, I don't think there is any chance on earth that Musk and Trump will be speaking by Christmas. Right? They're going to have to fight for it. Most dangerous course of action, of course, is we start looking a lot more like 1940s Germany. We know that that's what he wants. We know he wants to be a dictator. We know he wants to put people in camps and unalive other people. We know he wants to destroy the Constitution. We know all of that stuff. I don't think he is going to be able to. I think America is slightly stronger than Donald Trump. And specifically with the military, I would like to remind people that the military has been consistently standing up to him, and that I've heard from so many senior officers who are saying, you're right, we're briefing all of the time about your responsibility to not follow unlawful, illegal, or immoral orders, right? And this is what Joe Biden meant when he was reminding soldiers about their oath. Your oath is not to the president. The president is the commander in chief, but your oath is not to him. Your oath is to the Constitution, to protect the Constitution and, by definition, the American people against enemies, foreign and domestic. I also remind you that the U.S. military cannot be used against Americans. This is a thing called posse comitatus. Final thing I like to remind you is that the National Guard is not usually part of the military. They are usually belong to the states, and they are your well-regulated militia. They can be federalized. Even so, that is a request from the president. The National Guard belongs to the governors, and the governors can say no. So again, like, none of this is going to be good. I'm hoping the most for just an ineffective presidency that just makes everything worse in the way that it is. That's like the best case scenario that we're hoping for right now. And hopefully a lot of his people will start to wake up and see what this really is. But we'll be here talking about it.